Massive updates came to Overwatch 2 with the current patch, including hero changes and game modes. If you'd like to see more content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Overwatch has added a new seasonal mode, Battle for Mount Olympus. In this FFA deathmatch mode, you will be able to play as one of 7 powerful gods, or monsters from Greek mythology, each with a unique divine power that kicks in when they use their ultimate. The most valiant contenders in the Battle for Olympus will have a chance to earn limited-time voice lines and player titles to brag about their accomplishments for all eternity. At the end of the event, a hero whose powers were used to secure the most eliminations across all matches will be crowned a new ruler of Mount Olympus. Alright, first up on the list, let's get into the hero updates of this patch. Let's start off with Junker Queen. Her Adrenaline Rush, her passive, now heals for the remaining wound damage when an enemy dies with wounds on them. Her Carnage cooldown has been reduced by 2 seconds for each enemy it impacts. And Junker Queen's Jagged Blade, thrown impact damage was reduced from 80 to 50. Thrown direct impacts now add a 30 damage wound to the stuck target. This damage also stacks with wounds caused by quick melee or returning Jagged Blade hits. Junker Queen's changes are honestly insane. Her Adrenaline Rush now being able to heal for the remaining wound damage when an enemy dies with wounds on them is incredibly powerful. Junker Queen's Carnage cooldown is now reduced by 2 seconds for each enemy that it impacts. This is an excellent change because it rewards good players for doing, well, good plays. This buff actually avoids falling into the trap that Blizzard commonly falls into, which is buffing heroes but making them a little bit too strong. So this buff actually just rewards good players. It doesn't play the game for you. It should be incredibly exciting to see how these Carnage buffs go for Junker Queen. Although Junker Queen's Jagged Blade damage has been reduced, it has received buffs in other ways. The thrown direct impacts with Junker Queen's Jagged Blade, now adding 30% wound damage to the stuck target, is really helpful when it stacks with melee damage or returning Jagged Blade hits. This stacked damage from Junker Queen's Jagged Blade can be incredibly strong in close quarter fights, especially when the enemy team is low health or during overtime situations. These buffs are honestly enough to put Junker Queen at the forefront of the meta. Junker Queen's main contenders are Roadhog and Orisa. They are also both her counters. However, if Kiriko gets nerfed, Junker Queen could very well be the best tank in the game. Be sure to check out my Twitch to catch me live by following the link in the description below. Zarya. Zarya's energy degeneration has been reduced from 2.2 to 2 per second. The delay before energy degeneration begins after gaining energy has been increased from 1 to 2 seconds, thus overall increasing her average energy uptime. The Zarya changes are also super fantastic for her because with Zarya's bubble nerfs, it's been really hard for her to build energy and maintain energy. The buffs to Zarya's energy degeneration actually really help her in this department and make her a much more ideal pick, whereas before she was just kind of a lackluster tank. Now she has a better chance of surviving against characters like Roadhog or Orisa. As a result, Zarya will be able to maintain her energy for a bit longer and not need to rely on the shorter cooldowns of her bubbles like before. Will this make the strongest woman in the world meta? Probably not, but it will make her a more formidable pick, and that's good for Zarya. They also buffed Brigitte by increasing her shield health from 250 to 300 HP. Although she is not a particularly well-liked character, the Brigitte shield buff was necessary, and hopefully it will allow her to have a bit more sustain than she once did without being too overbearing. Up next with Moira, they also buffed her Biotic Orb. When Moira uses her damage Biotic Orb, she actually restores a small amount of biotic energy now, which is huge. This basically ensures that if you're out of heals on Moira, you can throw your damage orb at a distance and regain some heals. That's massive. That's a huge change for Moira. The Moira changes are honestly pretty massive for Moira. Sometimes when you're healing on Moira, you can kind of sort of run out of what I like to call pixie dust. Moira's Biotic Damage Orb now being able to restore a small amount of biotic healing is pretty huge in situations like this. This makes Moira a much stronger pick and gives her kit more utility. Does it make her meta per se? Too early to tell, but it does make her stronger. There are also several bug fixes this patch, including Hanzo's bug, as well as Mercy being able to escape Ramata's Ravenous Vortex, along with fixing areas where players could become stuck on the Shambali Monastery. It does not appear that they have fixed Mercy's Glock bug, however, nor have they nerfed Sojourn this patch, which I believe will probably leave a few people a bit disappointed with the latter. Sojourn is still incredibly powerful and one of the strongest DPS picks in the game, if not the strongest. She is oppressive and incredibly unfun to play against at high elos. Hopefully we'll see some nerfs for her next patch. There have also been some minor updates, like to your career profile. Game reports for completed matches in the History tab will stay persistent across sessions and reset between patches, rather than every other session, which is kinda nice. As well as some changes to competitive play. The 2023 of Competitive Capture the Flag begins on January 10th and can be found in the Competitive Play menu, and the Competitive Play loading screen has also been updated as well. That is it for the January 5th Overwatch 2 patch notes. A link to the patch notes can be found in the description below. If you'd like more videos like this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Until next time, gamers, GG!